I am sitting in a sleek conference room on the 15th floor of a glass tower in downtown Boston. The autumn sun streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting sharp shadows across the mahogany table. Across from me, 3 men sit rigid in their chairs. My cousin Derek, pale as fresh snow, stares at his folded hands. Beside him, Brad nervously taps a pen against his notepad. Kyle has not made eye contact since walking in. 3 months ago at a family barbecue, these same 3 men laughed at me. Derek had raised his beer bottle and announced to everyone within earshot that I was still unemployed, still living off my parents. Now, they are here in my conference room, having no idea that I am the CEO of the company they work for. Before I tell you how I went from being the family disappointment to firing my own cousin, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from. And if you have ever been underestimated by people who claim to care about you, hit that like button. Trust me, you will want to subscribe because what happened next is the sweetest revenge story you will hear all year. But to understand how satisfying that moment was, I need to take you back to where it all started. Let me rewind 3 years. 3 years ago, I was 25 years old and in my final year at MIT. Computer science major 3.9 GPA internships at Google and Microsoft under my belt. I had spent the previous 18 months working on a passion project in my dorm room, an artificial intelligence platform designed to help businesses optimize their workflows. One night, hunched over my laptop until 3 in the morning, I watched my algorithm run successfully for the first time. The numbers aligned. The system worked. In that moment, staring at lines of code that finally made sense, I made a decision that would change everything. I called my parents the next morning and told them I was dropping out of MIT to pursue my startup full-time. My father, Robert, a 58-year-old accountant who had spent his entire career at the same firm, went silent on the phone. My mother, Linda, a school teacher who believed in stability above all else, asked if I was sure about this. I told them I had never been more certain about anything in my life. My younger sister, Julia, 19, and starting her freshman year at Boston University, called me an hour later and said I was going to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. Her enthusiasm felt like the only validation I needed. I rented a small garage in Cambridge to use as my first office. 2 friends agreed to join me as co-founders. Jake, a college friend with a sharp mind for business strategy, and Priya, a former coworker from my Google internship, who understood back-end architecture better than anyone I knew. We had no funding, no customers, and no safety net. But we had belief. We had vision. We worked 16-hour days surviving on cheap pizza and cheaper coffee, convinced we were building something revolutionary. Then came Thanksgiving. My parents hosted dinner at their home in suburban Connecticut. The dining room filled with 15 relatives, the smell of roasted turkey and sweet potatoes thick in the air. My cousin Derek arrived fashionably late as always. He was 31, 6 years older than me, and worked as an investment banker in Hartford. He wore a navy Brioni suit that probably cost more than my rent, and a Patek Philippe watch gleamed on his wrist. His girlfriend Jenna, a marketing executive with perfectly styled blonde hair and a Chanel dress, walked beside him with the confidence of someone who had never questioned her place in the world. Derek spotted me across the room and his voice boomed over the conversations. "Where is the MIT graduate?" "Oh, wait, former MIT student, right." The room fell silent. Forks paused midway to mouths. My Uncle Howard, Derek's father, and a successful real estate developer, chuckled softly. Derek walked closer, his smile wide and sharp. "So, Armand, how is the startup thing going?" "Made your first million yet?" I kept my voice steady. "We are in development phase, building the product." Derek leaned against the doorframe. Development phase. That is startup talk for no revenue. Right. Jenna looked at me with an expression I would come to recognize over the following months, a mixture of pity and condescension that felt worse than outright mockery. "It is very brave what you are doing," she said, her voice dripping with false sweetness. My Aunt Patricia Derek's mother turned to my mom. "You must be worried sick, Linda." He gave up MIT for what exactly? My father changed the subject quickly, asking who wanted more turkey. Under the table, Julia squeezed my hand. I forced myself to eat, to nod along with conversations, to pretend Derek's words had not landed like punches. But that night, lying in my childhood bedroom and staring at the ceiling, I could not sleep. The doubt in their voices echoed in my head. I made myself a promise. I would prove them wrong. December brought a phone call from Uncle Howard. He had talked to a buddy who owned a construction firm. They were hiring for an office manager position, $35,000 a year. Was I interested? I thanked him and said I was focused on my company. He laughed, not unkindly, but with the tone of someone humoring a child. Company? You mean the garage project? Come on, Armand. Be realistic. January arrived with a difficult conversation at my parents' kitchen table on a Sunday morning. My mother sat across from me, her hands wrapped around a mug of coffee that had gone cold. Honey, your father and I have been talking. We are worried. Maybe you should finish your degree first. MIT would take you back. I looked at her, this woman who had supported every decision I had ever made until this one, and felt something crack inside my chest. Mom, I am 25. I know what I am doing. She shook her head slowly. Do you? Because from where we are sitting, you are throwing away your future. The pain did not come from her words. It came from the realization that my own mother did not believe in me. February brought public humiliation. My Aunt Patricia tagged me on Facebook in a job posting for an entry-level analyst position. Great benefits, she wrote with a smiling emoji. Thought of you, friends from college commented asking if everything was okay. I did not respond. I deleted the notification and went back to work. Behind the scenes, slowly and quietly, things were moving forward. We had built a working prototype. We were pitching to investors, getting rejected repeatedly. Too early stage, they said. Come back when you have traction. Jake and Priya worked without salaries, believing in the vision as much as I did. But the pressure mounted with every family gathering, every well-meaning job offer, every look of disappointment in my parents' eyes. Easter Sunday brought another gathering. My parents hosted brunch and invited neighbors and co-workers. Derek arrived with his boss Gregory, a 52-year-old senior vice president at the bank where Derek worked. In the living room, Derek introduced Gregory to the family with obvious pride. When he got to me, his introduction was careful. This is my cousin. He is between things right now. Gregory extended his hand. What is your background, Armand? I shook his hand firmly. Computer science. Working on artificial intelligence technology. Which firm? My own venture. Gregory and Derek exchanged glances. Ah, Gregory said. Entrepreneurship. Commendable. Though statistics show 90% of startups fail within the first year. Derek added helpfully, Yeah, man, maybe time for Plan B. Gregory's bank is always looking for smart people. I could put in a word. Gregory nodded. We have analyst positions. 50,000 starting. Not glamorous, but stable. I declined politely. Derek shrugged. Your funeral. In the kitchen, I saw my father pretending not to hear. The disappointment in his eyes hurt more than Derek's words ever could. The worst part was not the mockery. It was watching my parents start to believe Derek was right. By June, 1 year after dropping out, we signed our first paying customer. A small marketing agency in Portland paid us $5,000 for an annual subscription. Jake, Priya, and I celebrated in the garage with cheap champagne and Domino's pizza. I wanted to tell my family, but something held me back. It felt too small. I wanted to wait for bigger news, for something undeniable. July brought a second customer. August brought a third. By September, an angel investor agreed to invest $200,000. I officially registered the company as NovaTech AI. We rented a small office near MIT in Cambridge. I hired 3 more employees. Our monthly recurring revenue reached $30,000. We were growing, but I kept it quiet. I still wore jeans and hoodies. I still drove my 2008 Honda Civic. I did not tell my family because I wanted to prove myself with results so significant that no one could question them. Jake warned me repeatedly, "Dude, just tell them. This is real now." But I refused. Not yet. I want something undeniable. The following summer, I turned 27. My parents hosted a 4th of July barbecue. The backyard filled with 25 guests, the smell of grilled meat mixing with chlorine from the pool. Derek arrived with colleagues from his new job. He had left the bank and now worked at a software company called Tech Venture Solutions. He brought Brad, a 29-year-old sales manager with slicked-back hair and an expensive watch, and Kyle, a 26-year-old junior developer who laughed too loud at every joke. All three wore matching Tech Venture polo shirts, the company logo prominent on their chests. Derek's voice carried across the yard. "We just closed a $2 million deal. Company is killing it." Brad clapped him on the back. "Yeah, man. Derek brought in 3 major clients this quarter." Kyle spotted me at the grill flipping burgers. "What about you, Armand?" Still doing the startup thing, I focused on the meat sizzling before me. "Yeah, still building." Brad wandered over beer in hand. "Building. What exactly, got any customers?" I kept my voice neutral. "Some. It is growing." Kyle laughed a sharp bark that made nearby conversations pause. "Some customers. After 2 years. Bro," Derek interrupted, holding up a hand. "Hey, be nice to my cousin. Not everyone can handle real business pressure." He turned to me, his expression a perfect blend of pity and superiority. "Seriously though, offer still stands. Tech Venture is hiring. We could use someone with your enthusiasm." Brad nodded eagerly. "Entry-level DevOps. 45 grand. Not bad for someone with no experience." My sister Julia, now 21, stepped forward. "Armand has experience. He went to MIT." Kyle smirked. "For 3 years. Did not finish, though." Several guests shifted uncomfortably. Conversations became awkward and stilted. I gritted my teeth and stayed silent, focusing on the burgers that were starting to char. After dinner, everyone gathered in the living room. Derek stood up, drink in hand, and called for attention. "Can I get everyone's attention?" The room quieted. Derek smiled. "I want to make an announcement. I've been thinking about family, about helping each other." He looked directly at me. "Armand, I talked to my boss. We want to offer you a position at Tech Venture, junior developer role. 50,000 a year, full benefits. You can start Monday if you want." My Aunt Patricia clasped her hands together. "Oh, Derek, that is so generous." My mother's eyes filled with tears. "Really? Oh, thank God." My father leaned forward. "Son, this is a good opportunity." Derek continued, his voice taking on the tone of someone delivering difficult but necessary news. "I mean, you have tried the startup thing. You gave it your best shot. 2 years is enough. Time to be practical." Brad nodded sagely. "No shame in it, man. Most startups fail. You tried. Now get a real job," Kyle added. "Plus, you are almost 30. Cannot live off savings forever." My hands began to shake. The entire room watched me, waiting for my response. Julia started to stand. "Armand does not need." I raised my hand. "It is fine, Julia." I looked at Derek. "I appreciate the offer. Really. But I am going to pass." Derek's smile faltered. "Pass on a guaranteed $50,000 job." "Are you serious?" Uncle Howard leaned forward. "Armand, do not be stupid." I kept my voice steady. I said no. My company is doing fine. Derek laughed and others joined in. "Fine. You have been at this 2 years and you are still in a garage." Brad shook his head. "We are just trying to help you, dude," Kyle added, "before you waste more time." My father spoke quietly. "Armand, maybe you should reconsider." That moment broke something inside me. My family did not believe in me. Strangers mocked me openly. Even my own parents thought I was failing. I stood up. "I need some air." I walked out to the backyard and sat on the porch steps, the sounds of the party muffled behind me. Julia followed a minute later. "They are wrong about you," she said. I stared at the darkening sky. Does not matter. They will not see it until it is undeniable. That night, driving home alone, I made a decision. The time for silence was ending, but I would reveal the truth on my terms when they least expected it. The Monday after the barbecue, I sat in my office reviewing second quarter financials with Marcus, our chief financial officer. Marcus was 45, a former Goldman Sachs executive who had joined NovaTech 6 months earlier. He spread papers across my desk. We signed 2 major contracts this quarter. He showed me the client list. I froze. There, halfway down the page, was Tech Venture Solutions. Contract value $180,000 annually. "When did we sign them?" I asked. Marcus checked his notes. 3 months ago. They are using our workflow optimizer platform for their entire sales team. I started laughing. Marcus looked confused. "Something wrong?" I shook my head. "No. Actually, everything is perfect." Derek was working for a company that used my product. He had spent months mocking me while his own company paid nearly $200,000 a year for software I had created. The irony was exquisite. Derek did not know because NovaTech had not publicly announced its founder. All contracts went through Marcus and our sales team. I never attended client meetings. I preferred working behind the scenes, focusing on product development rather than corporate politics. "When is Tech Ventures' contract renewal?" I asked. Marcus flipped through his calendar. "Next month, standard renewal meeting scheduled." I leaned back in my chair. I want to lead that meeting personally. Marcus looked surprised. "You never do client meetings." I smiled. "This one is special. Set it up. I want to meet their team." He nodded slowly. "Their VP of Operations, Richard Langford, will be there." "Perfect," I said. "Make sure Derek Thompson and his team attend too." Marcus agreed, though confusion flickered across his face. Over the next week, I dug deeper. I asked our Chief Technology Officer Tom to pull usage reports from Tech Ventures' account. Derek's department showed the heaviest platform usage. I also had Marcus reach out to contacts at Tech Venture through back channels. What I learned made the situation even better. Derek had claimed credit for finding NovaTech's platform. He had told his bosses that he researched and vetted the solution himself. He had received a performance bonus for it. Brad and Kyle were also active users, raving about the platform in internal meetings. None of them knew the person they mocked at family barbecues had created the tool they used every single day. The morning of the meeting, I dressed carefully. For the first time since starting NovaTech, I wore a suit to the office. Charcoal gray Tom Ford, perfectly tailored. Navy silk Hermes tie with a subtle gold pattern. Italian leather Oxford shoes polished to a mirror shine. I drove my new Tesla Model S purchased the week before but kept in a private garage. My team stared as I walked through the office. "Boss, you look different," someone said. I smiled. "Big meeting today." I briefed Marcus Serra, our VP of Sales, and Tom. "Follow my lead. Trust me on this." They nodded, uncertain but willing. Tech Ventures' office occupied a 20-story glass building in downtown Hartford. We arrived at 1:50 10 minutes early. A receptionist escorted us to a conference room on the 15th floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. A mahogany table seated 12. Water bottles and presentation materials were arranged precisely. Marcus organized our materials while I stood at the window watching traffic crawl below. At exactly 2 o'clock the door opened. Richard Langford entered first. 48 years old, gray suit, confident handshake. Behind him came Derek, Brad, Kyle, and Jennifer, the HR director. Derek was mid-laugh about something. Then he saw me. His laugh died. Color drained from his face. Brad and Kyle looked confused, then recognition dawned. Richard extended his hand. "Good afternoon. I am Richard Langford. You must be the NovaTech team." I shook his hand firmly. "Armand Patterson, CEO and founder of NovaTech AI." Derek choked on the water he had just sipped. Kyle's mouth fell open. Brad stared. Richard noticed immediately. Derek. You all right? Derek stammered, unable to form words. I maintained perfect composure. Surprised to see me? Derek, I turned to Richard. Derek is my cousin. We are quite close. Are we not? Derek? Derek could not speak. Richard's confusion deepened. I was not aware you two knew each other. Oh, we have spent a lot of time together, I said smoothly. Derek has actually been very supportive of my career choices. Brad forced a nervous laugh. This is unexpected. Kyle stared at the table. I continued, my voice pleasant and professional. In fact, just last week at a family barbecue, Derek offered me a job. Entry-level position at your company. $50,000 a year. Was that not it? Derek Richards' expression shifted. Understanding began to dawn. Jennifer started taking notes rapidly, sensing the tension. Derek tried to speak. Armand, I can explain. I raised my hand politely. No need. Let us discuss the contract renewal. I opened my laptop and projected our presentation onto the screen. Richard, your company has been an excellent client. Platform usage is very high. I pulled up metrics showing usage patterns across departments. However, I have noticed some concerning patterns. I displayed screenshots of support tickets, rude emails from Brad's account, demanding messages from Kyle using an entitled tone, multiple complaints about unprofessional communication from the same department. Richard leaned forward, reading carefully. His expression darkened. I was not aware of these interactions. I kept my tone measured. Most companies have professional communication standards. As we grow, we are being more selective about client partnerships. We value mutual respect. Derek panicked. Richard, those emails were just... Richard held up a hand. Derek, please. I continued. I am not canceling the contract. TechVenture is a valuable client, but going forward I need assurance of professional conduct. Specifically, I would prefer Derek, Brad, and Kyle not be primary contacts for NovaTech Communications. Richard nodded slowly. I understand completely. That will be addressed immediately, Jennifer typed furiously. Derek's voice cracked. You cannot be serious. I turned to him, my expression neutral. I am always serious about business, cousin. Unlike some people, I do not confuse family gatherings with career counseling sessions. The meeting continued for another 30 minutes. We discussed technical specifications, pricing structures, and renewal terms. Throughout it all, Derek sat frozen. Brad avoided eye contact, and Kyle stared at his hands. When we finished, Richard walked us to the elevator privately. I apologize for my team's behavior, he said quietly. Both past and present. I shook his hand. I appreciate that, Richard. I look forward to continuing our partnership. He paused. Derek mentioned you were the family disappointment. Clearly, he was mistaken. The elevator doors closed. Inside, Marcus burst out laughing. Boss, that was legendary. Sarah grinned. Did you see Derek's face? Tom held up his phone. I recorded the whole thing. I smiled, but inside I felt hollow. Victory did not taste as sweet as I had imagined. Over the next 2 weeks, news traveled through business networks. Derek was pulled into multiple meetings with Richard and HR. Performance reviews and attitude assessments followed. Brad got reassigned to a different department away from vendor management entirely. Kyle was placed on a professional development plan corporate code for probation. Within a month, Derek was demoted from senior account manager to regular account manager. His salary dropped from $90,000 to $70,000. Brad quit and took a lower position at a smaller firm. Kyle was fired after another incident of unprofessional conduct. Derek stayed, but was humiliated. Office gossip spread about the cousin who owned the vendor company. 3 months after our meeting, Derek resigned. He found a new job at an insurance company in a junior role. During that time, he did not attend a single family gathering. A week after the confrontation, I sat alone in my office at 11 at night. Everyone had gone home. I stared out at the city lights of Cambridge spreading below my window. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I felt empty. Revenge had not brought peace. It had only highlighted the pain that existed all along. The hurt from years of family members not believing in me. The loneliness of building something while biting my tongue through countless gatherings. The accumulated weight of doubt and mockery. My phone buzzed. A text from Julia. Mom and Dad heard what happened. They want to talk. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it. Part of me desperately wanted validation from my parents even now. I drove to Connecticut at midnight. My parents were waiting at the kitchen table, the same spot where my mother had expressed her doubts 2 years earlier. My father's eyes were red. Derek called, told us everything. My mother was crying. Why did not you tell us? I looked at them both. Would you have believed me 2 years ago? Silence filled the room. My father spoke first. I'm sorry, son. I should have trusted you. My mother reached for my hand. We thought we were protecting you from failure. Instead, we failed you. My throat tightened. I needed you to believe in me. My father stood and pulled me into a hug. We do now. We should have then. We held each other, all three of us, and something began to heal. In the weeks that followed, I invited my parents to visit NovaTech's office. I gave them a tour of our facilities. They met employees, saw the technology we had built, understood the scope of what we had created. My father looked around in amazement. You built all this. My mother found Priya and Jake. Thank you for believing in my son when we did not. My parents began learning about the technology world, asking questions about startups and venture capital and software as a service models. They attended NovaTech events. They told friends about my company with obvious pride. The questions about getting a real job stopped. Instead, family dinners included conversations about company growth and future plans. Julia had always believed in me, and now she felt vindicated. She interned at NovaTech during summer break. Uncle Howard sent an awkward apology email. Aunt Patricia avoided me at gatherings. Derek eventually sent a brief message. I was wrong. Congratulations. I responded simply. Thank you. I held no grudge, but I maintained distance. Some relationships could be repaired. Others needed boundaries. As the months passed, I learned profound lessons. Success is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving yourself right. External validation feels empty if you do not believe in yourself first. Derek's mockery and my family's doubt were just noise. Real satisfaction comes from knowing you honored your vision. When you build something meaningful, you do not need to announce it. It announces itself. I also learned that people who love you can still hurt you deeply. Not from malice, but from fear. My parents wanted safety for me, but their version of safety looked like conformity. Their doubt was a projection of their own fears. I forgave them. I accepted their apologies. But I never forgot what it felt like to stand alone. That memory kept me humble as success grew. The 3 years of quiet, building the decision to work without social media updates or bragging about small victories, had been the right choice. I kept my head down and worked. The result was undeniable success. I learned that the best revenge is not confrontation. It is becoming so successful that people cannot ignore you and then choosing grace anyway. Today, I am 32 years old. NovaTech is valued at $60 million. We have 200 employees across offices in 5 cities. Forbes featured me in their 30 under 30 list, but I still drive a modest Tesla Model 3. I still wear jeans and hoodies most days. My office door remains open to employees. I remember the garage days and stay humble. As for Derek, I wish him well. I hold no hatred, no bitterness. I'm simply grateful for the lesson he taught me. Sometimes the people who doubt you loudest become your greatest teachers. Not because you proved them wrong, but because their doubt forced you to prove yourself right. And in that process you discover who you truly are. The victory was not in firing Derek. The victory was becoming someone who did not need to. Real success is not measured by who you defeat. It is measured by who you become, while building something that matters. And sometimes the people who underestimate you give you the greatest gift. They give you the fire to prove yourself right. Have you ever been underestimated by people close to you? Have you ever had to choose between proving someone wrong or proving yourself right? Drop a comment below and share your story. If this resonated with you, smash that like button. Subscribe for more real stories about overcoming doubt and building something meaningful. Share this with someone who needs to hear that other people's opinions do not define their worth. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that your vision matters more than anyone else's doubt. Keep building, keep believing, and keep proving yourself right. Until next time.